There we go. What is up, Patreon crew? Sorry about the little bit of delay there. For some reason, my YouTube wasn't working properly, but we got it up.
Shocking.
Shocking. YouTube making changes without letting anyone know, ruining the world. Regardless, we still got Lucy, and I'm very excited about this. So if you have residual questions for Lucy from the main show or things that didn't get asked, jump into the live chat for this episode. Which, if you're on the Patreon page watching this, you can click just the click this video, and it'll take you over to the YouTube page. Live chat room will be there. Kim is sitting in the chat room now and
sitting right in it.
Just sitting right in it. Staying nice and warm.
Very important question from Jessica in the chat room. Jessica wants to know, who taught you how to tie-dye?
Oh, the kids in the street of where I'm living right now. Yeah, it was kind of a fun thing to do. And then I had to practice because I needed to be able to tell people what to do. So we've got many tops that are in my drawer now of just some really bad and some really good.
You're in Auburn. Where in, you don't have to give the exact address or anything like that, but are you along the course or are you in town or?
I'm on mile 99.
So you're near Roby.
Yeah, I'm just opposite where Ann Trayson lives. Yeah.
That's awesome. You mentioned kids in the neighborhood and it, kind of following your Instagram and stuff. It seems like all the kids are very familiar with Western states, familiar with who you are, big fans, obviously.
Well, I ended up here last year purely by chance that I was staying at someone else's house and kicking their daughter out of her bedroom. And so Craig, the race director, knew these people that had this renovated little granny flat out the back. And yeah, I mean, these guys have just become my second family. And so they've, the kids come knocking and they make sure that I've gone training and they make sure that I've got food and they look after me. And when I got injured last year, just before the race, they made sure that I was, watching movies with them and playing games. And they just give me a whole lot of perspective in this kind of what can be like a stressful time.
Sure. That's really great. We were down there making a documentary following Brian Morrison in 2016. He has a long history with the race. And there was a scene where we were filming him coming in from Roby Point, and there were all these kids running around.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember having this sort of like visceral reaction to these kids. Do they even know who Brian is? And one of them was like, "You got this, Brian!" Like knew him.
Oh, that's so cute.
He has this really crazy story. Go watch the movie. It'll explain it better than I will. But I wonder if these kids are the same kids because I was like, they were so into Western states. I didn't expect.
Well, it's so funny because last year, I finished just before midnight, and the kids were like so amped that they got to stay up till 1:00. And
that's so cool.
And they were like, "This year, can you finish at like 2?" And I was like, "No, my goal is to get you to bed earlier."
Yeah. I love that. That's awesome. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah, question from Jeff in the chat room. Jeff says, for a father of 3 young daughters, how do I get them into running without being overbearing? Any tips?
I think the best thing is to make it not about the running. I think, like to go somewhere new and make it about exploring, to pack snacks and just make it about going for a hike and checking out a view or a waterfall. And like just getting them that incidental exercise. And then, like kids want to go fast and they want to do extreme things. So they'll start to play around on the trails and they'll run the downhills like every kid can. And they'll fall in love with it if you just let them do it at their own stage.
Nice.
Yeah. Question from Ian in the chat room. Ian says, Lucy, have you been able to chat with Anne? Did she offer any advice to you?
Yeah, so I've seen Anne at both Memorial Days. So when I did last year and then this year, she's always at Michigan. And her piece of advice that she's always given me every time I've seen her is like, you need to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So I have practiced that in my race, my nutrition plan for her.
I love Anne.
I know. We've had her on the show. She's fantastic. And every time I see her, she's always like, she always has these great quips, great pieces of info, great one-liners.
Yeah, she's a good person to run into on the street.
Mm-hmm.
Question from Sarah. Sarah says, do you have any tips for re-sparking joy for trail running?
Yeah, I think the best thing to do is to go out with someone else and to make it not about you and to share the experience. And I think that like trail running can be defined as so many things. Like it doesn't mean that you have to run. It can mean that you just go hiking, you just go walking through the bush and, just, again, pack good snacks, make it enjoyable, make it comfortable. And just, remember that, like, how grateful you are that you get to do this and that your body's allowing you to do it. And, I think like a really good way is like social media, actually, like having a look at, drawing inspiration from other people. And I know that when I'm struggling with finding that spark to get out training, it's kind of having a look and seeing that everyone else is getting at it.
I love that it always boils down to packing good snacks.
Yeah.
Lucy is speaking my language here.
Yeah,
we can go running together.
Yeah,
Great.
well, like when we meet Lucy, I think it's going to be a lot of just high fives and snacking.
I'm just gonna have like a picnic basket with me.
I already like this relationship. This is pretty cool. Get to a couple more here.
Yeah. Jeff in the chat room says, "What is your bucket list place to see in the U.S.?"
I would probably say, that's a good one. I actually really wanted to see Flagstaff. I've heard I want to go to the Grand Canyon.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Yeah. And like I would love to see like Yosemite and all the national parks and stuff. I just feel like I've seen Auburn really well.
Auburn and the States course, yeah.
Rock down to No Hands Bridge. But that's it. Yeah.
I mean, both of you mentioned two places that they have taken our breath away. I mean,
Yes.
Yosemite, when we lived in California, we would go to Yosemite multiple times a year, and the entrance into the valley never got old. It was one of those, how
like
does
a
this
grand
place...
reveal.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
You just don't know how it exists. Same with the Grand Canyon.
Well, I've been watching, I watched Alex Honnold's Free Solo, and it's amazing his climbing and stuff, but really I just want to go there and see this. Yeah.
That's easy.
Real.
I mean, especially from Auburn, if you're just hanging out after States, you need a place to go. Yosemite's not that far.
Yes.
It's first stop. Easy. Get to maybe one or two more.
Yeah. Question from Deb. Deb says, "Lucy, are there some other 100-milers or beyond that have piqued your interest?"
Yeah, I think UTMB for sure has always been something. I watched my dad do it in 40 something hours, and that was a pretty cool experience to crew him through that. And I've done the TDS and the OCC, and so that's kind of, I would love to do that one. I would love to do hard rock one year. After doing soft rock last year, it was kind of just a really cool experience, and those trails are amazing. But yeah, there's so many in the States that people talk about, like the Bear, the Wasatch. There's heaps. So I don't think I would choose wrongly here.
Not at all. There's like the first 8. There's Cascade Crest, which is here in Washington State. That was my first, and it's a toughie. You can get Hard Rock and Western States qualifiers. There's only a couple that do both, and those are always, you're guaranteed of a good time if you pick any of those races that give you the qualifiers for both. The list is endless. You could just come up, and there's just
new ones every day. It feels
every day.
Yeah.
So I'm always I think that 100 miles is something that I don't plan to do every year. So I really do want to make sure that I do the good ones and have a good time and see something new. Yeah,
for sure. Let's get to one last question.
Yeah, this is a fun question from Austin in the chat room. Austin says, "Lucy, if you could create a goo or spring flavor, what would it be?" Austin then goes to add, probably something other than watermelon. We know Austin, she's actually allergic to watermelon.
Oh, really?
But if it's watermelon flavor, that's totally fine.
I think that I would do something more savory. Like I've always thought, like I probably would use watermelon because it's just you can really add like salt and lime, and like generally when you eat that, it's nice. But yeah, I think there needs to be more savory options out there. And I'm talking like, because I was talking to Francois Dehan about what he used for Western States, and he was like, I used like a chicken stock, and I was just drinking stock, and I was like, there's got to be a way to make that into like a more of a solid food format. So I'd probably do like a pumpkin soup gel or something. Yeah,
Gary Robbins used that at Wonderland. Not pumpkin soup gel, but a savory soup. It was like a pumpkin soup or something. They were never able to get it heated in time because he was moving too fast.
Yes.
So he just kept drinking like iced soup. Disgusting. Side story. Lucy, it is again wonderful to have you on the show, and just such a privilege and a joy. So we can't wait to see you at State, see what you do, and just see you smile and have fun out there. And we'll be high fiving you. So look for a ginger and a very attractive wife. High fiving you
With the picnic basket.
With the picnic basket,
Just all the snacks.
Yeah, I'll need that. Well, thank you so much for having me on. It means a lot.
Course.
I mean, I came back from my run and saw the email and then the Instagram message, and I was like, this is so cool. I was meant to be going to yoga, but I would rather be doing this. Yeah.
We did yoga today.
Congratulations. I made you do yoga today.
That means nothing, but for the first time in almost 2.5 or 3 years, Kim was like, do yoga with me. And I was like, okay. 10 minutes into it, I was cursing myself. I was like, oh, no, I can't move. And then I got into it, and I forgot how great it is.
Yeah, it's
Side
one of those
story.
things that when you do it, it's just like, you walk out and you feel like you're like top, like you're 100%. You're like queen walking down the street. You're like, I just been to yoga.
Yep.
But I lack the matching outfit that everyone has here. You know, the leggings and the sports bra. I'm just in my
California.
Salomon stuff.
Yeah. Well, here's what I learned about California is while you look at other people and you're like, oh wow, everyone's so matchy, or everyone looks so perfect, especially in Los Angeles where I live. The whole time, just remember, they're looking at you going, she is so badass. Like the Solomon gear, like, oh, she must be a professional.
Where do I get that?
Where do I get that? So that's California in a nutshell.
Yeah. Well,
Always
it's
back
funny
and
because
forth.
in the classes they're like, like lean forward and, stretch. And everyone else is like head to the ground, touching their knees, whatever. And I'm just sitting upright, like looking around. And she's like, Lucy, lean forward. And I'm like, I am. Like, this is all I got today.
That was me today.
You.
I literally could not like cross my legs. I'm just like, oh, what? Oh.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Kim is like forehead to mat, and I'm going,
Yeah.
this is it. This is my
Your
pull down.
demise.
This is my demise. What a joy. Thank you, Lucy, so much. And thank you, Patreon crew. We really appreciate all of you for the support, of course. And yeah, thank you so much. Give Lucy a follow and show her some love on social. Thank her for being on the show. That is it for tonight's episode. We'll see you guys next week for more Ginger Runner Live. It'll probably be another Western States themed episode, maybe some hot takes on how things will play out, what's going to happen, predictions, and that sort of thing. We always like to do that. But we'll see you guys all next week. Okay. Get out there, train hard, race harder, party hardest. Bye.
Bye.